Okay, it's the 21st of Feb. It's a Friday. We've got just over 30 minutes to the NY Open. Go to the charts soon. Just a second. Yeah. Think are we good? Yeah. Am I audible? I think so. All right, let's start with the calendar. So, no news this week. There's something happening in about 2 hours, 15 minutes from now, which is not important. This is not going to affect price. It'll just add more volume to the direction where price is already heading, right? These non-important news events, they basically, what they do majority of the time, not always, but 80% of the time, or even 90% of the time, the non-important news events, and when I say non-important news events, uh, all of these news events, right? The important news events are roughly about 6 for the month. That's NFP, CPI, the interest rate decision, the FOMC meeting minutes, PPI, and retail sales. Those are the most important 6. Those are the important 6, right? Apart from that, everything else, all other red folders that you see on Forex Factory, just adds volume. 90% of the time, they add volume to the direction that price is already heading in, if at all. If at all, that's all it does. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. If it doesn't do that, then it doesn't do anything to price, basically. Okay, but that's what these non-important news events do. They don't change they don't change the direction of price. Okay, so on the daily, we've been creating dojis, right? The only candle the candle with information that we have is this daily candle that closed above 29.29, right? And then price reached 29.50. Since then, we've just been ranging in about, on the daily time frame, in about 180, about 180, 190 pip range. We've been ranging roughly about, I would say even less, maybe about 160, in about 150, 160 pip we've been ranging, with highs and lows. We've just been ranging, right? Now let's just go up a time frame to the weekly to understand what could possibly happen today. Now there are no guarantees, no certainties in trading. We are making assumptions based on the information that is presented on the charts, right? On the different time frames. So on the weekly, we have a bullish candle that has crossed about a 760 pip, 770 pip candle. This was bigger. This was the second week, and this was the first week. And see the difference. The first week, lot of volume because NFP week. This one, a little less, but still very good volume. This one, even less, right? You can see how the candles are getting smaller. As we touch 2950, the candles, weekly candles were getting smaller and weaker bearish volume, right? That's number one. That doesn't mean you start selling. It just means on the weekly time frame, can see the candles are progressively getting smaller. Now we've tapped 2950 yesterday, couldn't close above. It is likely one scenario that could happen. Here are two scenarios. I'm going to present two scenarios for the weekly candle. For the weekly candle, okay, not for any other candle. For the weekly candle, two scenarios. Number one, price creates a fairly decent weekly wick, which means price needs to close below here, right, to have a decent wick at the top, right? So which means the daily candle needs to turn bearish. That's one. Once the second scenario is price creates a small weekly wick, which means the daily candle needs to close bullish above 29.29. on the weekly, right? So on the daily, uh, if price closes comes down, then it could be headed to 2900, right? Will that happen today or will that happen on Monday? I don't know, right? But if you break below the low again, the previous daily low again, it's very likely we've already broken it once. If you break it again, it's very likely that we push down. The previous daily low was 24.21. So if you break below, so that's about 100 pips away. If you break below that again, it's very likely we push down. How far? I'm not sure how much volume there is. Or we close a doji again, and then we'll have a very small weekly top wick if we close a bullish doji, right? Or we close a daily bearish candle and we have a larger weekly top wick. Those are the two scenarios, right? That could play out. So are we going to have so in summary, are we going to have a large weekly top wick or are we going to have a smaller weekly top wick? That's the question, right? So we're going to go down to the lower time frames and have a look at that. Try to answer that question. Okay. So before we draw our zones, let's do a quick recap of what happened yesterday. Let's go down 30-minute time frame. Yeah. Okay. So I did take buys, and this was a buy idea that I did give out. Okay. So I said yesterday, if you watch the last 5 minutes of the stream, that should be sufficient to clearly hear what I said. I said if price comes to a liquidity candle, which is the light green area, the light green areas are liquidity candles, the light red areas or the pink areas are sell liquidity candles. These are light green areas are buy liquidity candles, right? So there are 5 areas of liquidity that are identified on a price chart. These are those 5 areas. Liquidity candles are one of them. The BRNs or psychological round numbers are another. Weekly SR levels are another, and the EMAs are another. Right? These are the pullback to the EMA and the EMA crossovers. So I said if it comes to a liquidity area, liquidity candle, or it comes to 29.29, wait for M30 support to form, and then look to take the buys. And that's exactly what happened. So I waited for the candle to close. It touched, it rejected, right? Pushed up, leaving, this is a liquidity grab. That's a 50 pip wick. That's a liquidity grab from the liquidity candle. We've seen this. If you've been on the streams, you've seen this. You've seen this happen dozens and dozens of times. That's a liquidity wick from this liquidity candle, which is that liquidity candle right there. The candle closed. The next candle closed bullish, forming a clear M30 support. Wait for the next candle to pull back, which is this 30-minute candle. So what I do is once this candle closes, this 30-minute candle closes, I go down to the 15-minute time frame and I draw my fib, and the fib is based off on the two most recent M15 low breaks. So this candle broke this low, this candle broke this low, right? 2 breaks, draw the fib. This is the start of the fib, this is the end of the fib. Priced pullback anywhere between this area is a good place to enter. Optimal entry and sniper entries would be best, but sometimes price doesn't pull all the way down there. So it did here. I did enter somewhere here and I got out. I said 2943, take partial positions. So I took partial positions here. That was about 107 pips, and I let the rest run to 2947. Why 2947? And it tapped it to the pip and then it dropped. So that's where I got out. Why 2947? Because that's the closest round number to the supply zone. There's a supply zone right here that we had marked on the 1 hour. So that was the closest round number, 2947, and I got out there, and soon as price touched it, dropped all the way down. Okay. All right, so let's get rid of all of this and start this process again. Okay. Okay, yeah, we tapped here again. We tapped that candle on Wednesday that we tapped it again here in the, I think the London session, and we pushed up beautifully. Okay, have we come across the 50% mark? It's 40 pips, 16. No, we haven't. That's a liquidity grab again. Could be pushing up again. Okay, let's start with our zones. Let's move all of these. It's very ugly on the 4-hour because its price has been ranging. There's very little volume. We've been we've just been ranging. Price has been moving sideways basically. This is visible by the daily as well. You can see price is moving sideways. So there's nothing happening on the daily. Just give me a second. Yeah, okay. One sec. Okay. Okay, so let's extend, well, let's just start drawing the zones first. Okay, so there is a supply zone right here, maybe even here. Yeah, so that's a drop. These are 3 basin candles, and this is a drop. Okay, when you have when price is ranging, you ideally need to go down to the 1 to clean up these zones. Okay, but on the 4 eyes it is visible. That's a drop, 3 basin candles and a drop. And the reason I take these as 3 basin candles, this candle, the first candle has more collective wick than it has body. So does this, and so does this, right? So those 3 are basin candles, and then that. And the high of this is 977. Let's extend that as well. 9. Okay. All right. Let's take a quick look at this on the 1 hour. Price has tapped it already. That would be better. This would be the drop. All of these would be basin candles, and then this would be the drop outside of it. Let's look at the 30-minute. Yeah, this is how I would have to have it on the 1 hour. This would be a drop. This would be the other drop. The leg in. This would be the leg out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 candles in between. Okay, so the prior open of that is 398. Yeah, so it's visible on the 4 hour, but we just had to clean it up on the 1 hour. So I'm gonna name this what's happening today. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's just get rid of this for a second, right? You got a 1 hour zone there on the 30-minute. Yeah, it's based off on the 30-minute. That's better. This open is 159. Just look at the 30-minute quickly. Yeah, open 159, close 163, close 160, 159. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's better. Okay, we've tapped this. Yeah, dropped. Okay, this high is what, 977. Now here we still have this zone. We haven't broken through that yet. So I'm going to extend these to the right. I'm going to extend all of these to the right. I'm not going to redraw them. These are drawn at the beginning of the week. Let's cover a drop of about 330 pips. That should be good enough. Extend this also for next week. And I'm going to extend these also, the liquidity candle to the right. This liquidity candle has worked twice already. You can see the tap here. This was on a Wednesday, and then today the tap, and we're pushing back up. Okay, that's these liquidity candles. They work really well, and I've been drawing these liquidity candles for years, but on the streams, I think for about 4 months or 5 months, I've been drawing them. Okay. Okay, right. Let's just move all these labels to the right. There is 50%, above 50% of the zone still left, so it's still a high liquidity zone. Yeah, this is for next week. This is not going to, price is not going to come that far down. Okay, so this is a 1 hour zone. That's a 1 hour zone, and that's the 4 hour zone, the one below that. Okay, that's the 4 hour zone right there. Okay, let's just clean up the chart a bit. That's a high liquidity zone. It's a 1 hour supply zone. Save this. All right, now the next step. We have a new zone here. Let's check. That's the only new zone. Everything else is from the beginning of the week. The price has been ranging, so we've not really created any new zones. We've just been ranging. Price has been just moving sideways all week. You can see we're just moving sideways above 29.29, and so between 29.29 and 29.50, right? Not even 2950. This has been the range. It's 160 pip range. Price has just been bouncing off 29 and touching around 2945. So in a 160 pip range, we've been creating highs and lows. Okay, so let's see if we have a little volume to push price down today, because we've got a fairly large supply level here. So the only way, the way for price to move is to come down. But we have 29.29 here where price has reacted to. Let's also take a look at the 1 hour very quickly, because we have created a level here, zone here. I don't want to ignore that. There's a drop and there's a base here, a rally here, drop and a rally. Let's look at it on the 30-minute. No, there is no basing candle there. And on the 15-minute, no, there is no basing candle there, which is very unknowing. That's the only way I'll have to draw it. But there is a zone there because we have a drop and then we have a rally. Yeah, so 319 and 679. 319 679. Okay. This low is 679. So let's bring it down so it doesn't overlap. That's better. So above here is another one demand zone. Okay. Right. So we have um, two new zones. We have a demand zone and we have a supply zone. So we're going to take a look at it and see if these are high liquidity zones or not, right? So on the 1 hour, we have this zone, we have a supply, price came down, it took out this demand here, this drop base rally, a single basin candle rally, price came down, took out that low, and also took out this demand zone, drop base rally, took out this as well, right? This wick took out that low, so this is a high liquidity zone. Has this taken out anything to the left? Let's go to the, yeah, it has. So there is on the 1 hour, there is a drop, 1, 2, 3, 4 basin candles and a drop. That's a drop, base drop, and price has taken out, this high has taken out that base, right? That's a 58 pips, we have taken that out. So this too is a high liquidity zone, okay? So that's, okay, those are the zones for the NY session today. Okay, all right. Now, the next thing, just a second. All right, we've got about 7 minutes for the NY Open, plenty of time. Plus, we've got another 15 minutes after the NY Open because I always wait for the first 15-minute candle to close after NY Open to look for setup. So there's plenty of time. I'll be back in a minute or a couple of minutes, and then we'll take a look at what price has done during the Asian session and the London session. Oh, sorry, before we do that, we've got to identify a liquidity candle in these zones. So we have this zone now, we have a new zone. We got to see check for a liquidity candle here. All right, so it's a 160 pip zone. It's a fairly large zone. So basically I'm looking for the largest liquidity candle, the largest bearish candle. And there is this wick, so I don't want to ignore this wick right here. Just mark that. Mark that wick. Let's go down to the 30-minute. It's this large candle here, plus there's this candle, which is a 140 pip candle, but this is even larger. That's a 189 pip candle. Let's go down to the 15-minute. And now we have this large candle, which is a 97 pip candle, making that the largest candle. And this low is 610 and this high is 608. Yeah, so we've tapped that and we're pushing down. 98. Oh, we got this 100. Oh, that's 100. It's 98. It's gonna have to look at the 5-minute on this. Yeah, it's this candle for sure. Yeah, there are no other 100 pip 5-minute candles. This one right here, 892, 890, 2890, exactly 100 pips. Exactly 100 pip candle. That's a 100 pip 5-minute candle. Just imagine the amount of volume in that candle. Okay, sorry. That's a liquidity candle. And we've tapped it here. This was the Asian session and we pushed down. Okay, let's take a look at, okay, let's do it now. Let's take a look at this candle below as well. There's a wick here. Get another 30-minute. This is the largest candle. 15-minute, it's still the largest candle. It's the only candle. $26. Yeah, 157892. 157892. Okay. All right, so this is just the NY Open. Let's take a quick look at what price has done in the Asian session. Um, all right, let's go down to the 15-minute. We got down to 15 minutes. I always wait for, always wait 15 minutes, at least for 15 minutes. Okay, so the market opened here, right here. Okay, so just zoom in. That's fine. That's the market open. So market opened at 2938.5, roughly 2938.5. We pushed up here. The Asian high. 977. Okay, and then this is the Asian low. 648. 648. Then 679. 45. Right here. That's a London high. 2933. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what price has done. Okay. The Asian session, we moved 230 pips, a lot of volume. In the London session, we moved 160 pips, also a lot of volume. 230 and 160, right? Now what price did was we opened, we pushed up to this price was inside the liquidity candle. There was no more liquidity in this liquidity candle, and we pushed up above it. We broke it and we closed back inside and we continued down. This is still 198. We closed down. I'm gonna put a price level here. We actually tapped this one also. Yeah. Yeah, we tapped this candle here, right here. So we pushed down, creating the Asian high. We pushed down, came all the way, tapped 2929, closed below, closed back above, rejected 2929, pushed all the way up again, came back to the liquidity candle. This candle grabbed liquidity, pushed down back to 2929, rejected, range around that price level, created the London low here, the Asian low, ranged, pushed back above the 2929, weekly SR created the London high, came closed below 2929 and the Asian low, went down, created the London low, came back up, retested the Asian low, closed above the Asian low. Next candle, 15-minute candle, closed above the weekly SR level, continued back to the London high, closed back above the London high, closed back below the London high, right? So we should be coming towards the London low. Price should be pushing down here, right? That's 144 pip drop. It should be pushing here. Now, have we created 30-minute resistance? Yes, we have. We created 30-minute resistance. So let's look at it. Okay, so I want to see price create another 30-minute resistance to take sells to come down. This was created in the pre-NY session. I want to see 30-minute resistance create in the NY session. The reason for that is because price hasn't, there's no top wick on this candle. It's very likely we're going to come up above this, right? So that's very likely to happen. There's no top wick here. So yeah, so we're going to wait. Not going to do anything, just not going to rush because there is weekly SR here. So I want to see clear another 30-minute resistance form, if that makes sense. There is this level right here, weekly SR. So I'd like to see a 30-minute resistance form for price to push down again. This is not convincing enough because we've closed here. This was pre-NY, before pre-NY. This was 30 minutes before the NY, pre-NY session, right? So that volume is kind of dead volume. I don't consider that volume. I consider volume that happens only during volume hours, right? So this is 30 minutes before the pre-NY session. Pre-NY is 1400 hours IC markets over time. This is 30 minutes before that. Price closed below 29.29, closed back above, and we closed back above the London high as well. Then we closed back below the London high, trying to push down, but this has no top wick. Yeah, this candle has no top wick. We might come down there. We might come up there. Yeah, we might come up. I want to see another 30-minute resistance form. I'm not doing anything until then. Nothing. No buys, obviously, because we're nowhere near a liquidity candle or a demand zone. And we're very close to supply, so you can't buy inside, you can't buy at or near this close to a supply zone or inside a supply zone. That makes no sense. So I want to see another 30-minute resistance form to take the cells to come down. So there's a lot of time. The 20 minutes for this candle to close, maybe we'll have to wait for another one. I'll have to wait for this one and the next one, right? It's a Friday. I'm not going to risk. I'm not going to chase price here and over risk or anything, right? I mean, I'm not going to chase price, try to force a trade. That's what I mean. I'm not going to try to force a trade. It's a Friday, Just going to take it easy. So I'm looking for sells. Prices below the EMAs. We've crossed the EMAs have crossed each other in the Asian session. This almost never happens. This does happen in the NY session, but it's very this thing what has happened here where the cross has happened and at that point price has also touched it, that never happens. This is rare. I mean, that never happens in the NY session. It does happen in the Asian session sometimes. I've seen it happen like once in the London session last year, but I think once or maybe twice, but it almost never happens in the NY session. So this, watch this very carefully. This, the EMAs crossed each other, and price touched that point exactly at that cross, right? Almost at that cross. That's what I mean by point number 5. EMA crossovers when price pulls back to where 30 period and 60 period EMA cross each other. Right? Does that make sense? That's why I say that rarely happens. It almost never happens in the NY, almost never happens in the NY session, but it does rarely happen anyway. Right? And you can see an example of it happening in the Asian session today. Right? It does happen. The EMAs cross all the time, but price to touch that cross is very rare. Almost never seen it in the NY. I think all of last year, 24, I never saw it once in the NY session. I think it happened once in the Asian session like this, but in the NY session, no, I've not seen it. And that just has a lot of volume because the crosses happen and you have a lot of volume pushing down, and that's, you can see that 120. We pushed about 140 pips down from that point, straight down. Okay, so I'm waiting for 30-minute resistance to form. I'm not taking any trades off this 30-minute resistance, though it has formed here. Price has touched this. I still, yeah, I'm gonna put a line here. This is a 15-minute candle, right? Yeah. This low is 610. I have a line there. 610. Okay, I'm going to watch that price level. 2936.10. If price breaks above this and closes back below it, if a 15-minute candle closes below this, uh, better yet a 30-minute candle. If a 30-minute candle closes above and then closes back below, or a 30-minute candle rejects this 2936, I'll be willing to take sells to come down. All right, it's a better drop, 145 pips, even lower, 190 pips if you come here. Back here, it's 190 pips. I'd be willing to take that trade. So my eyes are on 2936.1, right? The reason for this candle right here. This is a liquidity candle, 97 pip candle. Price has tapped it once. I'd like to see another tap and then a rejection, price to drop. So my eyes are on 2936.10. So we're going to wait. This is the 15-minute candle closing. Yeah, it's a lot of waiting to do. So I'll be back in a 3-4 minutes as we wait. As we wait. All right. Yeah. Yeah, right now, so far there's nothing, there's no volume. Just a 30 pip candle, there's no volume. We have to wait. We have to wait. Yeah, that would have been a good candle to enter. Just too, just too much. I mean, just too little space to run. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for 30-minute resistance to form. This is pre-NY. Let's see, wait for this 15-minute candle to close. Let's see. Let's wait for the 15-minute candle. 7.5 minutes more for this candle to close. Yeah, see, this is why it's so very important to wait for the candle to close. We're closing back bullish above the London high. Just wait, wait. 2936.10. That's where I'm waiting for. Price to break that high, this candle high, this 30-minute high, and let's see what it does after that. But we are bearish. I just want to see some sort of confirmation before push down. We are bullish right now on the 15-minute. We're bullish. I want to see the NY session in NY open. I want to see bearish candles in NY open. Okay, ideally a 30-minute bearish candle in the NY open. This is pre-NY. I want to see one at least a 15-minute, at least a 15-minute, minimum a 15-minute to be able to take sells. Better a 30-minute. That would be better. But 30-minute would be better. But I am looking for sells. Obviously, there are no buys here because price is at supply, so there are definitely no buys. But I want to see 30-minute resistance or at least a 15-minute candle close, strong 15-minute bearish candle close below the London high inside the NY session to take sells. Right, because of this, there is this right here. You got to be very careful. There is weekly SR. We've bounced at it. The number of times we've bounced on it. If you just look at the 30-minute time frame, the number of times we've bounced here. Look at that. This is just a 30-minute time frame, right? We've just bounced at that level so many times, and if we do take sells here, it's way too close. There is not enough profit potential. So I want to get in on sells higher. All right, that would be better. Sells from higher, at least push down 80-90 pips, take partial somewhere here, and then let the rest run. Because this is a very strong level. That's a weekly SR level, and price has been bouncing at that level all week. All week, literally all week. If you look at the daily, all week been bouncing there. Right? Even last week, we've been bouncing at that level. We're bouncing and closing below. This week we've been bouncing and closing above. So, sorry, yeah. Yeah, so we gonna wait for 15-minute candle close. Hmm. We're closing a doji here, or is the candle closing? Seems like it's gonna close a doji. If it closes the doji, that means this candle has absolutely no information in it, and we have to wait for the next candle. Right? That's all it means. If it closes like this, 25 seconds more. If it closes like this, then that's a doji. Yeah, we are closing a doji. Yeah. It's nothing, no information in this candle. That's a doji. We closed below. um, on the 15-minute time frame, this candle has no information. Let's take a look at the 30-minute time frame. We closed below 15. We have closed like this. Yeah, this is not enough. Nah, there's no place to trade. This is 36 pips is not enough. No, I'm not interested. Not interested. Not at all interested. I don't care if price comes down all the way. I'm not interested to take sells here. I'm interested in taking sells higher up, not here. And I don't care if price just drops 100, 150 pips or 200 pips down. I'm not taking sells here because weekly SR is right there. It just makes no sense to take sells there. We might drop, but I'm not taking sells. Yeah, we're coming down, but I wasn't interested in those sells because we can easily pull back up from this 29.29. Yeah, I'm not interested in sells here. See, pushed right back up, straight up. The 1 minute candle, big wick, 26 pips. Rejected 29.29. And that's why you never take trades you never take sells just above these weekly SR levels or under or just below. You never buy just below them because price is going to hit that and react to it. It might come down, but that's not a trade for me to take. I want to see 30-minute resistance period, as I said. I'm waiting for that. So another 27 minutes. I'm going to wait another 27 minutes to wait for 30-minute resistance to be created. I want to see a clear 30-minute resistance. If that resistance is going to be created here and a closer below 29.29, fine. That's absolutely fine. If it closes, then I'll look to take, then I have confirmation that we've closed below. I can look to take sells on the pullback to come down, about 100 pips, 120 pips to come down. If it comes up and creates M30 resistance here, even better. Then I can take a sell from there to come down here. That's another 100 pips. That's also fine. But I'm not going to trade just above it and take 15, 20 pips. I don't trade that way. I've always said this, when you have weekly SR levels, is like just starting your car in your garage. You've got a wall in front of you, and you're trying to drive. You're going to hit the wall. That's what these weekly SR levels are like. That's what BRNs are like, right? That's what these are like. All of these, that's what they are like. You don't go against these. These are liquidity areas. You don't go against them. You use them in your favor to collect liquidity and trade not against them, but with them, not against these. You collect the liquidity just like what price does. It collects liquidity at these areas, and you take the trade going in that direction, not in the opposite direction. You don't trade against these levels. Yeah, so basically just waiting. I'm waiting for the 30-minute candle to close. There's a lot of waiting. What's the time? Yeah, 30 minutes. Let's see where this 30-minute candle closes. Depending on that, I'll see how long I'm going to stay on the stream today. I'm going to wait for this 30-minute candle to close. We've got 24 minutes for this candle to close. It's a Friday, so I'm not I'm not going to force a trade today. And I'm not going to try to force any setup ideas either. It's a Friday. Take it easy. If you didn't make, um, if you didn't take trades this week, or if you didn't have a profitable week this week, then today is not the day to start. Right? Friday is not a day to start and hope that you'll have a profitable week. That has passed. So if you have taken trades this week and the week has been good, then just maybe not trade today, or wait for a clear setup that um, that meets your requirements, that makes sense in terms of price action. You know, like a 30-minute close below 29.29 is then has the possibility of price to pull back up and continue down if it closes below 20, because we are bearish, right? We're coming up. Price has tapped the liquidity candle in the Asian session. I explained all of this in the first 35 minutes of the stream. I explained all of this. Price has tapped the liquidity candle already, so it does not need to tap it again. It's tapped it once. It can tap it. Let me be clear. Price can tap a liquidity candle as many times as it wants. But if it has tapped it once and grabbed liquidity from it, it does not need to tap it again. But it can tap it as many times. But it needs to tap it at least once. And that's what has happened here. Price has tapped it, right? We spoke about this EMA cross. If you listen to the stream about 15 minutes back, I spoke about 10 minutes back, 15 minutes back, I spoke about all this, how important this was. It's tapped it already, and it does not need to come back and tap it. It can, but it does not need to, because it's tapped it already once in the Asian session. For the day, it's grabbed liquidity at that liquidity candle, so it does not need to come back up there, but it can do so. So we are bearish, but I want to see a 30-minute candle close in the NY session for me to get in on sales. So 22 minutes for the candle to close. Okay, I'll be back in about 5 minutes. There's a lot of waiting to be done. I'm gonna wait for, yeah, gotta see at least a 15-minute close below this. Let's see. Best to be a 30-minute. I think I'm gonna wait for the 30 minutes, but yeah, I'm gonna wait for the 30-minute candle close. It's a Friday. It's better to wait for high time frame confirmation. And it's not like price has been doing um, has had a lot of volume this week anyway. So when prices has less volume, always better to wait for a higher time frame confirmation. When price has a lot of volume, like for example, the opposite of that, if you watched my NFP stream this month, or the CPI stream this month, you'll see the opposite. A lot of volume, smaller time frame, lower time frame confirmation. Little volume, higher time frame confirmation, right? We're having very little volume, all right? So wait for the 30-minute candle confirmation. When there is high volume, like NFP and CPI, these are the only two events during the the first half of the NY session that has a lot of volume. You have interest rate decision and you have FOMC meeting minutes, but that happens at the second half of the NY session. On the trading day, the second half of the NY session. So I trade the first 2 hours of the NY Open, or the first 2.5 hours of the NY Open. So these are the only two events NFP and CPI, and those are tradable events. Those that volume that happens during that day, for the NFP volume, the NFP news volume, not during the day, but the NFP news volume for the event volume is a tradable volume. If you understand liquidity, it's a tradable volume, right? So high volume, low time frame confirmation. Low volume, high time frame confirmation. So today, this whole week, we've been having low volume. This entire week, if you look at the daily, this is low volume, right? If you go to, when was NFP? 7th, was this NFP? Yeah. CPI was Wednesday, 11th. Yeah. Look at that candle. 600 pip candle, CPI. And this was, yeah, this was NFP. Yeah, 7th of Feb. Right here. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame, the 7th. Yeah, this was the NFP candle. 330 pip candle, 4-hour candle on the NFP. Look at that 4-hour candle, 330 pips, NFP, and CPI was on the 12th. Yeah, 12th, 12, 12, 12. Yeah, this one, 12. Yeah, this one. This is CPI candle. This is 70th after CPI. This is CPI. 330 pips again. 330 pips CPI pushing up. Where was that? Sorry, this was the candle. Yeah, this was after. This is the 4-hour candle close. Yeah, but this was the news candle. So 260 pips. And 330 pips. But look at the volume in those two candles. 260, 330, 330, 220, right? Huge candles. 330 pips, 330 pips, 260, 225. Now, 160, 150, right? That's a doji, 220, 81, right? Yesterday, 156, 199. Day before, 190, 100, right? You see the difference? CPI and NFP, high volume, low time frame confirmation. Less volume, no news, less volume, high time frame confirmation. Right, so we'll wait for the 30-minute candle close. Look at this. For whoever took sells here, based off on the low time frame when the 15-minute candle broke, those breakout traders who thought, okay, there's a bearish candle, let's take the breakout. Look at this. You're back at break even. If you took sells here, now you're back at break even. Price is struggling at 29.29. So wait for 30-minute candle confirmation. But even then, it needs to close below. I want to see a 30-minute candle close below for me to be interested in sells. And I want to take sells up here. Let's see. I'm really not keen on taking sells anywhere here because this is always going to be problematic, right? So I want sells up here or I want sells below this, not just very close to this, not above it, when price is going to come and hit this again. Okay, just waiting. Okay, I'll be back in about the 50-minute candle is closed. Yeah, we closed a bearish candle. We've rejected 29.29 and closed bearish. The 5-minute is bullish. We should be heading up. We should create a bottom wick and push up here. Yeah, we should be pushing up. But you can't buy because supply is right here, 30 pips away. This is very ugly. It's ugly because there is we're in a very tight range between 29.29 and this supply level. Just a 50 pip gap between the two. And the reason that happens is because there is no volume for the week. If there was a lot of volume, you'd not have small gaps like this. The supply zones will be quite far from price. Supply demand zones would be quite far from current price. So yeah, we're gonna wait. Okay, I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Mm. Yeah, there's nothing happening. Price is just not moving. It's 33 pips, 43 pips, 58 pips, averaging about 45 pips, which is very low for gold. You want 15-minute candles like this, 70 pip candles. This is volume. $71 pips, 46, 95. That's volume. That's volume. Just those three candles. See them, count the amount of volume, add the amount of volume in those three candles. Then you have a nice pullback to where these EMAs are crossing, and then you have a nice drop after that from the 200 pip drop, 220 pip drop. Yeah, we're pushing back up. So this was a signal that we are pushing up. If you're a scalper, these are trades that you can take when price touches a key level like this. It touches any one of these liquidity areas. These are 5 key areas of liquidity. If it touches, if you're a scalper, here's an idea. Here's a very simple trade plan for those scalpers. Once you understand liquidity and you learn how to identify these on a price chart, it's basically only this I do. All of the rest are there on my chart. This one is done manually, but the other three are automatic with the indicator that I use. But once you learn how to identify them, basically, and if you're a scalper, you can take these trades when you have a engulfing candle, a 5-minute engulfing candle close at a key area. You can take the trade, wait for a bit of a pullback, stop loss goes under that candle, and take the buys. Take buys, and that's a one-to-one trade, easy. 27 pips, 30 pips. If you're a scalper, basically you're looking for 1 hour trades or 2 hour trades. Yeah, there's nothing. 30 minutes, 6 minutes for the 30-minute candle to close. Yeah, price hasn't come to the London low again yet to reject it for us to know if price is going to reject the London low and push back up. We're just struggling between the London high. We're rejecting the London high. That's the London high. We're rejecting the London high, but we can't seem to push down because of this. This is causing quite a bit of problems. 29.29, and you don't want to get caught in a trade like that. It'll be very frustrating. You take sells, you'll be just watching price for the next couple of hours. You want to be trading below that, or you want to be taking a trade up from here to come down and get out when price gets here to this area, very close to this. Yeah. I'm gonna there's nothing happening. Yeah, I'll probably end the stream in about 5 minutes because we don't have volume. It's a Friday. There is nothing happening. There is prices. Right now I'm only interested in sells. If as long as price uh, is in this area above 29.29, As long as price is in the supply area, I'm only interested in sells, right? Because it's a supply zone, obviously. It's a supply zone, that's only interested in sells. If we close, if a 30-minute candle close below 29.29, also I'm interested in sells. If we get down here to a liquidity candle, either to this liquidity candle here or to this one down here, if you break this low, we're coming straight down to this one. That's another 50 pip drop. So if we either from here, a liquidity from this liquidity candle, it's tapped it twice already. So if it comes here, creates some 30 support, I'll be looking, you can take buys. Or if it comes down here, creates clear 30-minute support, you can take buys again from this, or from 2900 you can take buys again. That's also a liquidity area. From any one of those areas, I'll be interested in buys, but right now I'm only interested in sells, but I'm not going to sell here because of 29.29. So either sells up here or sells below 29.29 to come down. But it needs to have profit potential, needs to have at least 80, 90 pips for price to move. Otherwise, it really doesn't make sense taking trades. We might form resistance here. That's very likely that we form resistance again. And that'll be a signal that price is heading down. But again, I will not sell here because of this. Right? Can look to sell above here or below here. If it looks to sell below, then I need to see if we form 30-minute resistance here. I want to see a 15-minute candle close below 29.29, a 15-minute candle, right? If we form 30-minute resistance here, I want to see a 15-minute candle close here below 29.29. Take the pullback from 29.29. You can have your entry at 29.29 or higher, and take sells coming down, maybe to this. That's about 100 pips down. That's okay. But 30-minute resistance has to form yet, and I think it will. You'll have 30-minute resistance form here, but wait for a 15-minute candle to close below 29.29. You see, it struggled to close. Today, today we've struggled to close below. Whenever we've closed below, we've come back. We close below, we close back above. We close below, we close back above. We close below, a very weak volume, then we quickly close back above because there is no volume to push down. So if price can't go down, then it's going to go up, right? That's what I was. So we close below, but no volume to push further down to come down all the way. So we close back above. Then we struggled all this. Then we closed below with a lot of volume, and then we pushed down 70 pips because that was a lot of volume we closed. But then again, lack of volume, there is no volume. We grabbed liquidity from the liquidity candle and pushed back up because we tapped a liquidity candle. Soon as price came down, this candle, there was a lot of volume in this candle, pushed price down, but it pushed price to a liquidity. If the liquidity candle was lower, not here it was lower, then we would have come further down, right? Because price moves to liquidity. It always moves to an area of liquidity. Once it collects enough liquidity, it goes in the opposite direction. That's all that price does every day. So it came, grabbed liquidity, pushed back up. And now what? It's searching for liquidity. That's what it's doing. So it came here, it's hanging around 29. That's an area of liquidity, right? So it's hanging around, closed above, it's ranging, then went up, came down, closed below, closed back above, trying to close back. So if we close below, if a 15-minute candle closes below, so now we form 30-minute resistance. Like I said, we form 30-minute resistance. Now you need to see if a 15-minute candle closes below, then I would look to take sells to come down. Well, that's about 100 pip drop. But this would be my TP around 29.19. That would be the TP level, 29.19. Yeah, that would be TP, 29.19. 29.19. But a 15-minute candle needs to close below. Okay, I think that's it. I'm not going to be looking for anything else. There's really very little volume. Okay, all right. So that's the end of the stream. So I've shared the idea. It's just it's a sell idea basically for price to come down. I've explained it several times. For buys, wait for price to get to a liquidity candle, either this one or the one below, or even further down at this the BRN or the one below. Wait for clear M30 support to form to push price up. Just like this, look at 30-minute support formed here, right? Yesterday, 30-minute support, price pushed up. Okay, 160 pips. 30-minute support formed. This was the retracement, was the next candle. Price pushed up 300 pips, right? So wait for clear. Look at these candles. Make note of these candles. Take a mental picture of these candles. Visualize these candles. These are the kind of candles that you want to wait for when creating. Those are tradable candles. They're not just M30 support forming, but they're tradable 30-minute candles, right? So M30 support can form even with a doji, but that doesn't mean that's a tradable candle. You need a tradable candle is a candle that has a lot of volume, a lot of bullish volume. So basically, if you're looking for buys, then you wait for 30-minute support to form with a candle that has a lot of bullish volume, right? I hope that makes sense. So you're waiting for 30-minute support to form with a lot of bullish volume. You can see there is very little bearish volume, right? There is very little bearish volume. Look at the size of that wick and look at the size of this body. The body is far bigger than the wick. That's a lot of bullish volume, right? So the same with even this candle, right? You can see how big the body is. That's almost 50 pips. And you can see how little the wick is. For the top, the pressure from the top on a bull candle is your sell orders. The pressure from the bottom in a bear candle is your buy orders. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's it. I'm going to wait for the 15-minute candle to close. And then if this closes bullish again, if it doesn't close below, then I might just call it a day. But let's see, it's got about 10 minutes more for the candle to close. There is no volume, to be honest. There is very little volume. Price can come back down and tap this Asian low and then close back above 29.29. And then if you do take sells here, you might get trapped. The price might push back up again. Okay, so it's gold doesn't look nice. I'll be very honest. Gold doesn't look nice to trade today. It's a Friday. There's not a lot of volume. Doesn't look nice. All right. Yeah. So back back on Monday, right? 7:30 a.m. EST is Monday. What do we have next week? It's nothing. No news at all. Next week, no news at all. It's the last week of the month. It's very quiet. There's no news at all. Um, All right, so see you on Monday, 7:30 a.m. EST. Take care. Have a great weekend. See ya.